fresh look at something. So please welcome Jessica Trimble and her story in the Navy.
So, just when I thought boot camp was the craziest experience of my life, reporting to my first duty station aboard the USS Frank Cable was insane. There I was on the pier with my sea bag full of uniforms, and I'm looking up at this huge gray tin can, 700 feet long, 300 feet wide, and I'm wondering, how the hell am I going to get through that thing? So I go up the brow, which is from the pier all the way to the quarterdeck, and I finally reach the top to the quarterdeck and request permission to come aboard. The first person that I meet is Petty Officer Torres. She's a short, stocky looking lady with curly brown mullet looking hair. She's like, permission granted. Welcome aboard USS Frank Cable. And welcome to deck department too. Seaman Thompson, how about you show Seaman Trimble how to get down to the berthing and find herself a rack? She's got a busy day ahead of her tomorrow. Aye, aye, Petty Officer. So I follow Seaman Thompson down the hallway, and all you see is gray. Haze gray, deck gray, machinery gray, it's gonna rain on your head gray. Any gray you can think of. And the sweet smells of fuel, and paint, and asbestos. We finally get to this hatch, and we open the hatch up, and we walk in, and everything is pure white. Like, wow, this is awesome. Except there were black letters and numbers that were on the wall that were supposed to help you navigate through the ship. I was so glad Seaman Thompson was there to show me the way. So we go down all these passageways, and we're going over hatches and opening hatches and closing them and going over hatches, and we get to ladder wells, which are like straight down, and we have to go at least 5 decks below, which seems like 50 ladder wells. Seaman Thompson's just flying down on her hands, not even touching a step, and I'm sitting there with my sea bag like, oh my God. We finally get down to the berthing, I find a rack, and I'm out for the night. Wake up in the morning, and Seaman Thompson tells me, I'm going to show you to your workspace. It's in the 2nd division. I'm like, cool, thank God you showed me. So we go up to the ladder wells again, we climb up the 50 ladder wells straight up, and then we get up to the main deck hatch, and we open it up, and I get out on deck, and the first thing I notice are these 2 huge 10-ton cranes on the port and starboard side of the ship. And they're on these like rails, they're like a foot tall because they travel up and, up and down the side of the ship because we were submarine tender. So we had to fix and repair submarines underway or in port. So the cranes had to be mobile. And I'm looking up, and I notice in that crane, the guy's sitting in there, and there's air conditioning up there. I was like, I want that job. I mean, Guam is a beautiful island, but it's very hot to work in. Besides the fact that there's air conditioning, I soon found out that a woman has never operated a crane on the ship. So how cool would that be, right? The only thing is I had to go through other jobs before I could actually be a crane operator. Imagine that. So the first job that I had was a deadman. Deadman had to wear a brown hard hat, wear these big rubber black gloves, and you had to hold on to this gray button that had a gray box that had a red button on top. And the deadman had to walk with the crane as the crane moved. And if there was an emergency, you had to hit that button, and the whole crane would stop. After falling asleep about 3 or 4 times, I killed him. I made deadman. I was gone. Then after that was lineman/rigger. Those guys got to wear light blue hard hats, which actually went a lot better with my dungarees. The linemen and riggers, they had to basically make sure that the loads were steady and centered, and you had a line that would stay on there to keep it, taut while the crane is moving stuff from here to there. I think it was after I dropped about 2 5-gallon paints on the pier, that's when I became lineman rigger qualified. Now we're on to signalman, which to me was the most important job. The signalmen were the eyes and the ears of the crane operator. You could see things on the ship that the operator couldn't see up there in the air conditioning. And the signalman too would let the crane operator know what to do. Either you come up, you come down, you boom up, you boom down, slew right, slew left. So once I got those gang signs down, signal me qualified. Now, the meat, and bread, and butter, and everything was a crane operator position. Now, to be fully qualified, I had to do 50 loads total. I was coming up to my 50th load. And the 50th load happened to be a nuclear tomahawk missile. Submarine had pulled alongside us a couple days before, and we had to give him a missile. No problem. Piece of cake. So the day of the operation, I get up that morning, I check out the crane, I do my inspection, make sure there's no leaks or anything, and then I get to the back of the crane, and I climb up the ladder, climb up the ladder, and climb up the ladder, and climb up the ladder. And I get into the cab, and I sit down, I throw off my hard hat, and crank on the AC. So there I am, sitting there, with the controls in my hand. They kind of remind me of the Atari 2600 controls. They're just as sensitive, too. You just budge them a little bit. So I'm sitting there at the control, I'm looking for my signalman on the deck, and I see him down there, and he's telling me to move the hook over. So we go up and over, and move the hook right into the middle of the main deck. Next thing you know, the weapons elevator opens, and here comes the weapons people, pushing out this huge Tomahawk nuclear missile on a dock. So they're pushing it right onto in the middle of the main deck. I got the hook right there, so it's right below. The riggers get in there and they put on the big yellow straps on each side of the missile, and they hook it up to the hook, and then the linemen put a line on each side, and we're good to go. So I'm up in the crane waiting for my signal. Basically, we have to get this thing high enough and over the rail down to the submarine. Easy. So I wait for my cue. He tells me to come on. I come on. He tells me to boom out. We go back and forth, until I'm able to clear the rail. So then he tells me to go ahead and slew left, slew. So I slew left, and I'm slewing left. We're almost right above the rail, and then boom! The dead man hit the switch by accident, the crane stops, one of the linemen lets go of the line, the missile's just sitting there hanging. I'm looking down and my palms are turning pale, and all I can think about is, thank God I'm in this air conditioning.
Our next performer, we all live in Baltimore, Maryland, Williams, so we've all been to Ocean City. And this is about one of those trips. The story is called Traveling Lady. Please welcome Evelyn Tyson.